The deep state. Even the name evokes a sense of mystery and intrigue. It conjures images of secret meetings, hidden agendas, and powerful figures pulling the strings from behind the scenes. It is a concept that has captivated and disturbed people for decades, a hidden world operating beneath the surface of our everyday lives. The idea of a clandestine network influencing the course of nations is both fascinating and terrifying. At its core, the deep state theory posits the existence of a powerful, unelected group operating behind the scenes of government. This shadowy entity is believed to manipulate political outcomes, control information, and steer the direction of national and international policies. This group, often composed of intelligence agencies, military officials, and financial elites, is said to wield significant influence over government policy, often acting independently of or even in opposition to the will of elected officials. Their reach is thought to extend into various sectors, including the media, academia, and major corporations. Proponents of the theory argue that the deep state is a threat to democracy, a shadowy cabal that undermines the will of the people. They believe that this hidden power structure operates with impunity, subverting democratic processes and maintaining control through secrecy and manipulation. They point to historical events, covert operations, and alleged conspiracies as evidence of its existence and influence. From the Watergate scandal to the Iran-Contra affair, proponents see a pattern of hidden agendas and secretive actions that support their claims. Critics, however, dismiss the deep state as a baseless conspiracy theory, a dangerous fantasy that erodes trust in government and fuels political polarization. They argue that such theories are often rooted in paranoia and a lack of understanding of the complexities of governance. They argue that the theory is based on speculation, conjecture, and a misunderstanding of how government actually works. According to critics, the perceived actions of the deep state are often the result of bureaucratic inertia, inter-agency competition, and the normal functioning of a complex political system. This essay will delve into the murky waters of the deep state, exploring its historical origins, examining the evidence and arguments for and against its existence, and analyzing its impact on politics and society. We will look at how the concept has evolved over time, the key events that have shaped its narrative, and the various perspectives that surround it. By the end, we hope to provide a clearer understanding of this enigmatic and controversial topic. The deep state, while often associated with modern conspiracy theories, is not a new concept. It has been a subject of intrigue and speculation for many years, capturing the imagination of those who believe in the existence of a hidden power structure that operates independently of elected officials. Its roots can be traced back through history, with echoes found in the political paranoia of various times and places. Throughout different eras, people have suspected that there are unseen forces pulling the strings behind the scenes, influencing political decisions and shaping the course of history. One of the earliest incarnations of the deep state can be seen in the concept of the dual state, a term coined by German jurist Ernst Frankl in 1941. Frankl's analysis of the Nazi regime revealed a disturbing duality within the government structure. Frankl used the term to describe the Nazi regime, arguing that it existed as both a normative state that maintained a facade of legality and a prerogative state that operated outside the law, engaging in terror and repression. This dual state allowed the Nazis to present an image of legitimacy while simultaneously carrying out brutal and unlawful actions. The Cold War era saw a resurgence of interest in the concept of a hidden hand controlling government. During this time, the world was gripped by the fear of espionage and covert operations, with both the United States and the Soviet Union engaging in a high-stakes game of intelligence gathering and subterfuge. The rise of powerful intelligence agencies, such as the CIA and KGB, fueled suspicions of secret agendas and covert operations. These agencies operated in the shadows, often beyond the reach of public scrutiny, leading many to believe that they were the true power brokers behind the scenes. The military-industrial complex, a term popularized by President Dwight D. Eisenhower, further stoked fears of unelected individuals and organizations wielding undue influence over government policy. Eisenhower warned of the potential dangers posed by the close relationship between the military and defense contractors, suggesting that this alliance could lead to an erosion of democratic principles. The term deep state itself is believed to have originated in Turkey in the 1990s. During this period, Turkey was experiencing significant political turmoil, with various factions vying for control and influence. It was used to describe a network of military officers, intelligence officials, and organized crime figures who were alleged to be involved in a campaign of violence and intimidation against political opponents. This shadowy network was believed to operate independently of the elected government, using any means necessary to maintain its grip on power. The Turkish deep state, with its alleged ties to drug trafficking, extrajudicial killings, and political assassinations, provided a chilling example of the potential dangers of an unaccountable power structure operating within the shadows of government. This network's activities highlighted the risks posed by entities that operate outside the bounds of the law, using violence and intimidation to achieve their goals. The concept of the deep state continues to evolve, reflecting the ongoing concerns about the balance of power and the integrity of democratic institutions. Believers in the deep state theory often point to certain characteristics and methods of operation that distinguish it from the legitimate workings of government. They argue that these hidden forces operate behind the scenes, pulling the strings of power without the public's knowledge or consent. These characteristics, they argue, reveal a pattern of covert influence and manipulation. The deep state is said to be composed of a network of powerful individuals and institutions that work together to maintain control and advance their own interests. One of the hallmarks of the deep state is its alleged ability to control information. This control is exercised through various means, including the suppression of dissenting voices and the dissemination of propaganda. By classifying documents, censoring media outlets, and spreading disinformation, the deep state is said to shape public perception and manipulate narratives to serve its own interests. This manipulation extends to social media, where disinformation campaigns are used to influence public opinion and sow discord. The deep state is also accused of using its influence to control key institutions such as the media, financial system, and military. These institutions are seen as critical levers of power that can be used to maintain control over society. By placing loyalists in positions of power and using its access to information and resources, the deep state is said to ensure that these institutions act in accordance with its agenda. This includes influencing policy decisions, shaping economic outcomes, and directing military actions. Another common accusation leveled at the deep state is its alleged involvement in covert operations and even illegal activities. These operations are said to be carried out in secret, often without the knowledge or approval of elected officials. From staging coups to assassinating political opponents, the deep state is said to operate with impunity, unconstrained by law or morality. These actions are believed to be part of a broader strategy to maintain control and eliminate threats to their power. Proponents of the theory often point to historical events such as the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the Watergate scandal, and the Iran-Contra affair as evidence of the deep state's existence and influence. They argue that these events demonstrate the lengths to which the deep state will go to protect its interests. They argue that these events reveal a pattern of shadowy forces working behind the scenes to manipulate events and control the levers of power. This pattern, they claim, is indicative of a hidden government that operates independently of the democratic process, undermining the principles of transparency and accountability. Critics of the deep state theory, however, argue that these claims are based on speculation and lack concrete evidence. They contend that what is often perceived as a coordinated effort by a hidden government is, in reality, the result of bureaucratic inefficiencies, individual actions, and the complexities of governance. Despite the controversy, the idea of the deep state continues to captivate the public imagination, fueling debates about the true nature of power and governance. Whether viewed as a legitimate concern or a conspiracy theory, the concept of the deep state raises important questions about the balance of power, the role of secrecy in government, and the need for vigilance in protecting democratic institutions. While the deep state theory has gained significant traction in recent years, it is not without its critics. Opponents of the theory argue that it is based on speculation, conjecture, and a fundamental misunderstanding of how government works. One of the most common criticisms leveled at the deep state theory is its lack of concrete evidence. Critics point out that the theory relies heavily on anecdotal evidence, circumstantial evidence, and conspiracy theories, rather than hard facts and verifiable information. They argue that the deep state is a convenient scapegoat for those who are unhappy with the outcomes of political processes. Rather than accepting that their preferred policies or candidates may simply be unpopular, believers in the deep state theory attribute their losses to the machinations of a shadowy elite. Critics also argue that the deep state theory is inherently undemocratic and dangerous. By undermining trust in government institutions and elected officials, the theory erodes the very foundations of a functioning democracy. Furthermore, they point out that the deep state theory is often used to discredit legitimate criticism of government policies and actions. By labeling dissenters as conspiracy theorists, those in power can dismiss legitimate concerns and avoid accountability.